To have this in '94, I was outlaw. Like, my friends were horrified. They were like, bro, you ruined your life. You know what I mean? Like, you ruined your life. My girlfriend, who was my wife now, at the time, she wasn't thrilled either. But I just knew that this is where I wanted to be. This is what I wanted to do. Hi, my name is Richie Bulldog. I am the founder and co-creator of Hustle Butter, New York City. I grew up in Brooklyn, single parent household. Spent a lot of time on the sidewalk, a lot of time on the street, and I couldn't help but notice tattoos passing my way, whether it was a Playboy bunny or a Christ head or Joey with a cross. I grew up seeing tattoos my whole life. I believe the first time I ran my fingers over my Uncle Joey's tattoo that says Joey with a little butterfly, I was like, yeah, I want that. You know what I mean? I want to have that. And it wasn't so much when I saw like my older cousins with the earrings and stuff like that, but the tattoo really ingrained in me. I felt it was different. It was more extreme as a kid, like, wow, you know what I mean? So when I went to go get my first tattoo, you have to understand, this time in New York City, this was 1988 or 89. I wish I remembered the year, but I've been tattooed definitely over 30 years. I've been getting tattoos. But I definitely remember going and showing up to a basement in Brooklyn. And I remember there was a line coming out of the basement, and the line went off over the stoop, out of the gate, all the way like 2, 3, 4 houses, and people were sitting on the stoops. And you didn't talk to anybody, you just sat and you waited on this line. So you wait there 12 hours just to breach the door. And then you see flash on the walls. Like you see, like, wow, you feel like you're in like some place you shouldn't be, because you're in a basement. All of a sudden there's just designs all down the walls. And then the adrenaline sets in, you get excited. The kid finally sits in the chair, and now I can see everybody looking at me, I'm nervous. And I pick out the bulldog on the wall, and he put it on me. And every line I could feel like in my whole body. Like it wasn't pain, it was like excitement. It was like electric. And I remember by the time he was doing the shading, I was thinking, yo, what am I gonna get next? I was numb, I didn't feel any pain. I remember paying him. I don't even remember leaving that night. It was kind of like when you go out and you have a really good time and you get drunk at a bar and you don't know how you got home. It was so euphoric and it was so crazy. As I was getting tattooed, I was like, oh, I want a whole bodysuit. You know, the only reference in my head was you'd see the Japanese full suited guys, and those are the earliest reference of full tattooed people that we're all exposed to, I guess. You know what I mean? You see it in movies. After every tattoo, you have this feeling that you're more tattooed than you really are. It's not until when I was in the military when I really felt like very tattooed. Like I finally did a calf sleeve with an artist. So that was at the first point where my tattoos began to resemble a sleeve. You know what I mean? That's like, it was coming together. Like, I got it now. Like, it didn't necessarily have to be all planned out. The luxury about being sleeved was like, you can always just tuck your shirt. Tuck your shirt, tuck your shirt. And in my day, you had to tuck your shirt, you had to tuck your tattoos. You know, you ain't gonna get a job if you're tattooed. That was like the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s, right? I always looked at people with hand tattoos as like even as much as I was tattooed, I was like, yo, like that's crazy. Like you did your hands, bro? But as it progressed and I got older, I felt hand tattoos were like goat horns. You know, like a buck, like, okay, I'm a man, I've tattooed everything. There's pretty much no other good skin left on me. And I came across my favorite artist in the whole world at this convention. He was this far away from me, and I said, hey, with a quivering voice, do you have time to tattoo me this weekend? It was Philip Liu. And Philip says, oh, I'm sorry, my brother, my wrist is a little messed up, so I don't think I can. And I said, okay, it was great talking to you. And I hugged him. I come across another artist named James Strickland, another fantastic artist who I love his skulls. And I said, James, I had an appointment with Philip Liu. It fell through. I got an approval from my wife to get a tattoo on my hand. Would you do the skull? He was like, wait, you want me to tattoo you instead of Philip Liu? I was like, no, it's not instead of Philip Liu. He just can't tattoo me, so I would love to get a tattoo from you. I mean, you know. So I go, I get my hand tattooed, I'm pumped. And the first line, I'm like, oh, I get a little sick. It was actually this hand. I'm like, okay, we're going. So 4 hours, 4.5 hours. Somebody comes over to me and said, hey, are you Richie Bulldog? And I said, yeah. He said, Philip Lou's looking for you. He said he'll tattoo your hand. So I went and I got the other one done. You know, my heart dropped because I had just gotten this tattoo. But then I ran over, like wrapped up, and we all sat there. And then I got my hand tattooed from Philip Lou. When I was a young timer in the thing, and I was going around looking, there's a gentleman, and he's still around today. They call him the mayor of Tattooville. His name is Chris Longo. Chris Longo has 2 bodysuits. He's had a bodysuit, and then he put another suit over the suit. And he was one of the guys that would get like a black and gray Jack Rudy piece, and then go to somebody else, and they would color it in. Like he was, you know, he was definitely cutting edge. Like he did some back in the days that were very faux pas, if you will. I'm turning into that guy almost. Like I went to the point where all the first layer of tattoos were great, but there's so much art and so many things that I've seen, and I've seen things come and go, that I want that stuff too. So because it's my bodysuit, I want to improve on it. I don't have to, I'm not one of these guys like, oh, I got the tattoo, I don't want it touched up, but it is what it is, I'm gonna die with it. I want to just keep like working on it and making it nice, and like I'm always on a quest. You know, I guess it's the same reason I get my hair cut every day. Just want to stay fresh. Right after every session, or the last half hour of every tattoo, whether it be the first one or the last one, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. This is it. And then you get home and you're like, wherever, and you're like, yep, I'm gonna do, you know, it's just like, the only thing that makes you want to stop is the discomfort. You never remember how much it hurts. You never do, because you wouldn't do it again. You know, it doesn't hurt for everybody, but you remember the experience, you remember the sights, the sounds, the smells, the music that was playing. If one of the artists were eating vegan beans that day, you remember that, but you never remember how it felt. I did this one in '94. This was a neck tattoo. So to have this in '94, I was Outlaw. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, yo, when'd you get out? I'm like, from work? Like, my friends were horrified. They were like, bro, you ruined your life. You know what I mean? Like, you ruined your life. My girlfriend, who was my wife now, at the time, she wasn't thrilled either. But I just knew that this is where I wanted to be. This is what I wanted to do. I love it and live it still, even till this day at 50 years old. I'm still scrolling through tattoos, looking for new artists, looking for new techniques. Holy shit, they did that on black. Holy shit, they did that with a fucking crystal ball. You know what I mean? Like there's so much stuff out there. And the only thing that is getting old about tattooing is me.